Hey there, this is the Top Floor Please podcast, where women in leadership rise together. I'm your host, Melissa McCormick, executive coach and founder of the Grace and Salt Leadership Academy. This is your space to find clarity, grow in confidence, and lead with bold authenticity. Whether you're navigating the boardroom, building your team, or stepping into new territory, you're not alone. Let's talk real challenges, real growth, and real leadership, because the top floor isn't just a place, it's a mindset. All right, let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the Top Floor Please podcast. Today, we are going to be digging into the visibility gap. So what does that mean? That means that you're the person in the organization and you're doing all the things and you're feeling like, yeah, people are coming to me. I'm a go-to person. I'm making decisions. I'm doing all this. But then little by little, like there's things that are happening in the organization where you're like, wait a minute, am I being overlooked? I'm qualified for that. Why wouldn't they have given me that project? Or why did it go to so and so? Or why is that person being promoted? I I don't understand. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to give you some tips on how to kind of bridge or reduce that visibility gap is what I'm calling it. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Melissa McCormick. I am the CEO and founder of Grace and Salt Leadership Academy. I am recording this in my office, in my home office, and the reason I'm pointing this way is because my husband is outside right now mowing the lawn. So if you can hear him mowing the lawn, I am sorry. Hopefully it's not too much of a distraction for you. All right, so here we are, and we're talking about visibility gap. Now, before I dig into that, I do want to just explain something. I'm sorry, but he's right outside the window. I want to explain something to you with regards to the podcast. So Top Floor Please podcast means it's where your top floor is. It does not necessarily mean CEO level. It's for that driven person, that high performer, that driven person who wants to get to wherever they want to get to. It doesn't necessarily mean that the top floor is what you're striving for, but I call it that because it's wherever your top floor is. Alrighty, so let's dig into this visibility gap, right? So the big question is, have you ever felt invisible at work? Have you ever felt like you're in a meeting and you make a comment and no, it's like crickets. Nobody says anything, right? Or you're busy doing everything behind the scenes. And so because it's behind the scenes, nobody really knows you're the one that's making the magic happen. Like this doesn't just happen. Like if I weren't here, who would be doing it? But because you're busy doing all the things, you're not really telling other people what you're doing. And so they don't know. So I'm just going to share with you just a few not really hacks, but ways that we can close that visibility gap. So the first one is we want to shift from informing to influencing. So what does that mean? That means that I don't want you just to send status updates. I want you to connect the dots. This is part of strategic thinking. I don't want you to say, here's what I did. I want you to say, here's what I did, and here's why it matters. Okay, so for example, let's say that you've got a special project and a certain part of that project was completed. And so you tell your boss, hey, I got XYZ completed on time or whatever. Now, why is that important? Well, hey, I just wanted to let you know this is done so that this can begin, or so that our customer can receive their updates that they hadn't been receiving, or so that we can sell this product sooner than we thought, so that fill in the blank. All right. I want you to connect the dots. I want you to think bigger than task. I want you to think strategic. Here's what we did, and here's why it matters. Now, the reason why you're telling your boss that is so that your boss knows, they know the impact, right? They know the impact, but it's really good for them to connect in their mind, connect your name with the results. It's very important. And that's just a psychological thing. That's just it's just a psychological thing on how the imprint, I guess is the word, the imprint that we leave on those who influence. Okay, so number one, shift from informing, like just giving status updates, to influencing. All right, number two, own your wins out loud. Okay, this is hard, especially for women. We are servants. And whoa, excuse me. We are servants, meaning servant leadership. Excuse me. And so to be humble and visible, that's what we want to do, right? So you could say, I'm proud of how the project turned out, especially the part where, we reduced XYZ by 15%. Okay? You still use the word we. I got to write this down because this is going to be another podcast because words matter. And so you don't want to always use I because I, that drives people crazy. You do want to use the word we, and you were part of that. People are going to know whether you led the initiative or not. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I have a tickle in my throat. Okay. So own your wins out loud. Be sure that you're saying, I'm proud of how this project turned out, especially the part where and then list the ROI or list the results, quantify those results, right? How we increased employee engagement by 5%, or we moved the needle on customer satisfaction, or whatever it is that you're measuring. But own your wins out loud. Practice that with a partner because for many of us, that's uncomfortable. And so the first time you say your voice might shake. It could come out a little bit, clunky. Do it because the first time is always the hardest. The next time it's going to be easier. It's going to be easier. It's going to be easier. And it's going to become more natural. But you need to practice it. It is not a skill that you can just do and then go. Because you're going to do it the first time and you're going to say it and you're like, oh, I felt like such a dope, or whatever. Or everybody looks at you like, oh, wow, right? So depending on how you say it is going to depend on your reaction. But I do want you to practice for sure. Okay, number three, ask for strategic projects. This is important, especially with our Generation Zs. So if any Gen Zs are listening to me right now, I want you to ask for strategic projects without getting extra pay. It is super important. And here's why. I want you to say, I'm looking to stretch. I'm looking to contribute at a higher level. I'm looking where I can support a strategic initiative. Period. If they say, yeah, it's excellent. And hey, we've got a special leadership program that you can go through and you get extra bonus because XYZ, perfect. But don't expect it and don't ask for it. I need you to be that person who's willing to go above and beyond regardless of the pay. The pay will come later. Promise me, or I promise you, it will come later. So ask for those strategic projects, but do not expect more money because this project is outside of your box or outside of your role. That's a real challenge that we're having these days. With the different generations in the workforce. Okay, use the right rooms. Share progress in team meetings, in cross-functional calls, or on one-on-ones with decision makers, not just your closest circle. Again, each one of these takes practice. So I want you to find your accountability buddy, right? We've talked about that in the past. I want you to find your accountability buddy, and I want you to figure out, okay, what am I doing that I need to share? Like, don't share, oh, so I did that, just general things. I need you to share things that are strategic and that really have helped the organization, whether that's finalizing a process. Maybe you eliminated 3 steps from this particular process, which reduced the time to do the process by 15 minutes. And if you multiplied that out by how many times we do this process, we saved X amount of time times whatever the average hourly rate is for that person. means we just saved the company X amount of dollars, or we were able to complete it faster so that we were able to get back to our customer quicker, which increased our customer satisfaction. Things like that. Try to figure out how to connect those. But each one of these is absolutely needs to be practiced. It takes muscle memory, all of that. So here's your I'm going to just go back through those one more time. So the first one is shift from informing to influencing. Number 2, own your wins out loud without being pompous. Number 3, ask for strategic projects without asking for more pay. And 4 is use the right rooms. Do not be afraid or fearful to share your accomplishments in team meetings or in cross-functional teams. And again, this isn't bragging. So that you have to find the nuance, that executive presence, which is what I teach. You need to find that nuance of how to say it so that it doesn't come across as bragging, but yet that's what you're doing because you want people to know the impact that you have on the organization. So here's your Grace and Salt coaching moment for today. Your impact can't speak if your voice doesn't. Your impact can't speak if your voice doesn't. That's what I teach. I teach communication. I teach listening. I teach executive presence. I help people, particularly ladies, how to speak up, right? And I do that through the Esther Project. So if you are at all curious as to what I do, I would love to have a conversation with you. Please go to graceandsaltleadership.com, or you can go to esther.graceandsaltleadership.com as well, and you can check out some more information about the Esther Project. So this week, I want you to choose one meeting to speak up in, not just to inform, but to influence. All right? How's that sound, everybody? Okay, I want to just wish you a fabulous rest of your day, and thank you so much for listening, and thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for hanging out on the top floor. If today's episode gave you something to think about or a little boost, share it with your friend and keep the momentum going. And hey, if you're ready to find your voice and lead with clarity and confidence, check out the Esther Project. It's our foundational program at Grace and Salt, and it's built for women like you who are ready to rise. You can learn more at graceandsaltleadership.com. I'll drop the link in the show notes, and remember, you don't have to lead like everyone else, just lead like you. All right, I'll see you next time.